Hey, what's up, guys? I haven't been posting in a while, so I decided to do a video, up-to-date video on the in-cab inspection. We now have to make sure we let that examiner know what our trucks are governed to cut out at, right? All trucks are different. This will make a little bit more sense as we go into the video. So you know how I do, guys. I'm gonna jump right into it. All right. The examiner is sitting over in the passenger seat. I'm gonna look at the examiner. I'm gonna ask the examiner, would you like me to chalk my wheels? More than likely they're gonna tell you guys no. All right, so I'm gonna make sure I do that. And let me cut this out real quick. Sorry about that. All right, so like I was saying before, I'm gonna ask the examiner, would you like me to chalk my wheels? They're gonna say no, more than likely. I'm then gonna tell the examiner I'm now entering the cab with 3 points of contact, right? So I'll make sure I do that. 3 points of contact. I'm entering into the truck. All right, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna talk about my safety equipment. I got 3 pieces of safety equipment. I got extra fuses in my overhead bin. Right here on the floor in front of me, I got a fully charged, rated and dated 5BC fire extinguisher that's properly mounted and secure right here on the floor in front of me. Underneath my back seat back there, I got 3 red bi-directional reflector triangles. Now remember, guys, depending on your unit, your safety equipment may be located in different areas, right? So you just want to let them know where it's located and give the correct commentary. All right. After that, I'm gonna go to my city horn. My city horn works. And my air horn works. I'm gonna look forward. I'm gonna talk about my glass. My windshield is properly mounted secure. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. There's no illegal stickers or obstructions that will block my view. It's clean, it's in good condition. My left and my right traffic monitoring devices, better known as my left and right side view mirrors, right? They're properly mounted secure. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. There's no illegal stickers or obstructions that will block my view. It's clean, it's in good condition, and it's adjusted to me. Now remember, your mirror is going to pre-trip just like your windshield. The only difference is you have to tell them that your mirrors are properly adjusted to you. All right, so keep that in mind. At this point, I'm gonna do a safe start, right? So I'm gonna still do that the same. I'm gonna put my foot on the brake, cut it to the on position, and I'm gonna tell the examiner my ABS light came on, it went off. That indicates that it works. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the unit. All right, my depth gauge is working properly. It's reading I got a full tank of depth. My primary and secondary gauges, as you can see here, is building up to the governor cutoff of 120 to 140 psi. Keep in mind, my truck is governed to cut out at 140. I'm gonna go into my lights at that point. My left turn signal works. My right turn signal works. My low beam works. My high beam works. And my 4-way flashers works as well. Keep in mind, when you're talking about your lights, you want to point at them as you talk about them, right? Point at the stuff in here as you talk about it. My windshield wiper arms and blades are properly mounted secure. The arms are not cracked, bent, or broken. The blade is not worn, torn, or frayed. It smoothly wiped the windshield. They're properly seated to the windshield. They're in good condition. And I don't have any windshield cleaner left, but at this point, this is where I push the button and spray the glass, and I'll just tell them my windshield washer fluid is working correctly as well. At that point, I'm gonna go right down here, turn it to that symbol. My defrost works, my heat works on all speeds. All right. All right, I'm gonna take the time just to scan my cab, just to make sure I ain't forgetting anything, right? I'm confident that I can move forward now. All right, the next part of the test I'm gonna do is what they call the tug test. Before I can do my tug test, I'm gonna make sure my primary and secondary gauges are built up to the governor cutoff of 120 to 140 psi. My truck is governed to cut off at 140. All right, so that's where I cut out at. I gotta tell them that. Your truck may be 130. You gotta tell them that, right? So again, to do my tug test, I'll make sure I'm between the governor cutoff of 120 to 140 psi. Excuse me. My truck is governed to cut out at 140. At that point, if yours is 130, it'll sound something like this. I would now do a tug test with my primary and secondary gauges built up to the governor cutoff between 120 and 140 psi. I would now do my tug test. My truck is governed to cut out at 130. So you see, you just want to tell them where your truck is governed to cut out at, right? Once you do that, you'll get right into the tug test. I'm going to tug against my trailer brake by releasing my tractor brake. Put my foot on the brake, put the truck in drive, and then push in the yellow knob so you can tug against your trailer brake. All right, give it a tug. All right, that was successful. That brake is holding. I'm gonna reset myself. That means pull the knob back out, put the truck back in neutral. Now I'm gonna tug against my tractor brake by releasing my trailer brake. You wanna point at this stuff and be very clear what you're doing, all right? I'm gonna push in my trailer brake so I can tug against my tractor brake. Put it in drive, give it a tug. That brake is holding. I did that successfully. Pop the knob back out. The next thing I'm gonna do is what they call the service brake test. I'll put my truck in drive, I'll pull forward no more than 5 miles an hour, apply my foot to the brake, come to a complete stop, and make sure the vehicle didn't pull to the left and it didn't pull to the right. I explained that successfully, right? The next part of the test I'm gonna do is what they call the air brakes test. Before I can do my air brakes test, I'll make sure my primary and secondary gauges are built up to the governor cutoff between 120 to 140 PSI. My truck in particular cuts out at 140. Again, you gotta tell them what your truck cut out at, right? So now I'm just waiting for the sneeze. I know I'm at governor cutoff. Once I hear that sneeze, that's very important, guys. If you do not hear the sneeze, it's safe to say you're not at governor cutoff, all right? There's the sneeze. But just say you didn't remember hearing the sneeze, or you're not for sure, right? At this point, I'll still give the same commentary. So this is what it's gonna sound like at that point. When my primary and secondary gauge is built up to the governor cutoff of 120 to 140 PSI, I will now perform my air brakes test. My truck is governor cutoff at 140. However, I don't remember hearing my sneeze. I'm not for sure if I'm at governor cutoff. May I assist it? They're gonna say yes. At this point, I'm just gonna fan my truck down to about 100 PSI and then bring it back up with the accelerator pedal until I hear the sneeze. There's my sneeze. I'm at 140, governor cutout, right? At this point, I'm gonna cut my truck off, cut the key back into the on position, and make sure, guys, you're cutting the key back to the on position. You know your key is in the on position when you hear everything. When you start hearing buzzers go off, you're seeing your gauges moving, that's the on position. If you're not in the on position, when you go to fan your brakes to get your one in line buzzer, you're not gonna get anything, right? So I cut my engine off, I cut the key back on, and then I'm gonna push my knobs in. So remember, it's 3 things you do: engine off, key on, knobs in. So I'm gonna press the knobs in now. All right, at this point, I'm waiting on my primary and secondary gauges to level out. I'm now about to apply my foot to the brake for 1 minute, and in that 1 minute, I'm not gonna lose no more than 4 PSI. Will you time me? They're gonna say yes, foot goes to the brake. Keep your foot there until they say time, right? So we're just gonna fast forward it. The examiner told me time. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna point at my primary and secondary gauges and say, as you can see, I did not lose no more than 4 PSI in that minute. I'm now gonna fan my brakes down to approximately 55 PSI. I'm gonna get a warning light and buzzer. There's my warning light and buzzer. I'm gonna continue to fan my brakes down to 40 PSI, at which point both my valves right here, they're gonna pop out. So make sure when you're fanning your brakes down, they both pop out, because sometimes only one pop out, right? If that one pops out, just keep on fanning until they both pop out, all right? So I'm gonna keep my eye on my valves. Both my valves have now popped out. That completes my in-cab inspection. I'm now gonna safely start my vehicle. I'm gonna ask the examiner to get out and check my lights, and we gotta tell them which ones. So that's gonna be my high beams, my low beams, my right turn signal, my left turn signal, my 4-way flashers, my clearance lights, my tail lights, and my brake lights, marker lights, right? I need you to get out and check all those lights I just named. They're gonna get out. They're gonna check all those lights. At that point, you can get out the truck and do your in-cab, right? Remember, when you at the DMV, I don't really know how they do it at third parties, right? Some third party examiners don't mind you leaving the key in the ignition, but the DMV wants you to take the key out the ignition. So I'm gonna cut my truck off, take the key out the ignition, and I'm gonna exit the cab with 3 points of contact. All right, hope this helped you guys. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Right, 100.